All right, guys, a big-time shot from Trae Young to beat the Jazz. Holy smokes. Huge for the Hawks, huge for the Jazz. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys, what a massive shot by Trae Young to beat the Jazz. And that game was so close. It was a good one. I was on the edge of my seat this whole time and just begging the Hawks to win the game. Well, the prayers to the basketball gods were answered, and Trae Young was the angel sent from heaven, sending the half-court prayer, the Hail Mary, whatever you call it, and he made it, and it saved this tank for the Jazz, and it keeps this Hawks team rising in the rankings. They are continuing to grow. Let's talk a little bit about the Hawks, and we'll talk about the Jazz. You know, I'm a Trae Young fan now after that shot because absolutely we needed it, and he saved it. I can't believe he struggled from the field all game, but then he makes that shot is what makes that so funny. But 6 for 16 from the field, 3 for 10 from three, but one of those threes was the one that mattered most. But the big time thing tonight, holy smokes, 20 assists for Trae Young. Just a bonkers number. Who knows? Maybe one of these days he breaks the assist record, but 20 assists for Trae Young. I was grateful for every single one of them. Every single one. Thank you, Trae Young. This season for the Hawks has been an interesting one. They didn't have Jalen Johnson tonight. He didn't play. I think he's out with some sort of injury. But they did have Dyson Daniels and Zachary Rizachet. And they played well tonight as well. DeAndre Hunter, look at that, 4 for 7 from three. He was absolutely big time for them. But Dyson Daniels absolutely probably should be the most improved player. He has become such a weapon for them. That trade to the Pelicans is insane when you look at it. How they trade DeJounte Murray. They get back Dyson Daniels. They get picks back, and they got the better players. Who would rather have DeJounte Murray over Dyson Daniels, who's looking like an all-defensive guy, and he is shooting the ball really well. In fact, 2 for 4 from three. This is a crazy move for them. 12.95 and 3, but when you consider the defense that he brings, and he is shooting for this season, look at this. He's shooting, the three-point percentage is not as good as you think. But the field goal percentage is up. So at least there you go. But the defense is just crazy. He had so many deflections and steals in this one. Dyson Daniels was +2. He had, look at that, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 7 assists. He's just playing really well, and he was big time tonight. So if that three-point percentage goes up for him, holy cow, does he become a weapon for them. Not much else to say. Rizachet was 2 for 4 from three, which is nice to see. 42% is good enough, I guess. 14 points, 6 rebounds. He also plays well. They just have so many different wings now. It's, my favorite restaurant in Salt Lake is Trolley Wing Co., and it's kind of looking like Atlanta Wing Co. over in Atlanta. That was the worst joke ever made, but they have all these different wings that do so many things, even to DeAndre Hunter and Johnson. So they're just a really good, well-built team now at this point, and will be interesting to see what they do. In fact, let's just look at the standings before we talk about the Jazz. They're sitting at 6, so they're not even in the play-in. Look at that. That's pretty impressive stuff, and I don't see why they can't keep winning. Nice job by the Hawks front office. They've kind of turned them into an interesting, fun, unique team. So we'll see what happens. All right, Utah Jazz loses this one over that Trae Young buzzer beater. By the way, it was Colin Sexton who hits that 3. Colin Sexton, monster night. This is what I've been talking about. Why are we giving so much heartburn to our fans and to everyone who wants this Jazz team to lose? Utah comes into this game and they just rest these players. Keontae George rests. Jordan Clarkson's out with plantar fasciitis. They start the game with Isaiah Collier and Johnny Juzang. I can't remember who else was sitting. Oh, they sat Bryce Sensabaugh because he was absolutely winning them too many games. And if he plays tonight, they probably win. But Utah actually got to figure something out because we can't keep doing this thing, Utah. We can't keep doing this thing where we don't pick a lane. Utah is right here, and there's still, look, Utah sits at 5. Let's refresh this to see if this is latest and greatest. Utah's at 9-26 here, sitting at the 5 spot. They are 1 game back of Charlotte at the 4. They are a game and a half, but basically 1 game back of Toronto. Game and a half, I guess. Utah has this right here, and guess what? Zion Williamson and the New Orleans Pelicans almost beat the Wolves tonight, which would have been huge for Utah. That sucks for the Jazz because they go up to 18. They were just sitting at 12. 6-team jump. So every single loss for the Minnesota Timberwolves is huge for Utah. We absolutely need them to keep losing games. And we need freaking San Antonio to not lose 2 in a row. Come on. Detroit, they're doing their job. They're doing their job, San Antonio. Do yours. Do yours. Can we send you a nice, cheap, very good offensive player in Colin Sexton who will come off your bench and play really well? Pretty nice player. You guys should look at him. But anyways, we need these teams to start winning. Look at Sacramento. Since they fired their coach and started playing Devin Carter, who got back healthy, they've won 5 in a row. Shout out to the Sacramento Kings. Keep on doing it. We need all these teams to win, and we need this team to lose. But anyways, I lost track. New Orleans almost won, and Zion Williamson looked good. He looked good tonight, guys. So there is very much a world where they kind of start winning some games because Zion is that impactful. They have he is that good. I just can't say enough. He is so impactful offensively. He will absolutely change that team for the better. It absolutely gives them a cornerstone offensive player now for the rest of the season for as long as he stays healthy or plays. So please just stay healthy, Zion. Stay away from the beignets. Stay away from the po' boys. Zion, come on. You got to stay healthy. Stay healthy, Zion. And play and stay away from the beignets. They're too much. You're just like me, Zion. If I inhale powdered sugar, I gain like 7 pounds. You're just like me, Zion. Stay away. Stay on the Ozempic, Zion. Keep with it. It's working. All right? Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. Because this New Orleans team is going to win. Toronto's pretty good. And they play their guys. And they have Quickly back. They have RJ Barrett back. They absolutely can win some games. So if Utah does not screw this up, it can happen. And they don't have to do a lot. Just trade Mr. Sexton. That's it. Trade John Collins. It sounds like there's some teams out there interested in him. Shout out to Sacramento Kings. If you want John Collins, come on, Spurs. Take that contract. You want him. John Collins next to Wemby is like a perfect fit. Somebody come get these guys, but somebody has got to trade for Colin Sexton. And they have to. Danny Ainge, Justin Zanuck, Ryan Smith, I'm begging you. What do I got to do? Ryan, Danny, Justin, what do we got to do? What do I got to do? I'm willing to do anything. Come on. Just make the trade. It doesn't matter. And I wanted to talk about this. Famous last words for me is making a video about it. But someone asked in one of my comments, like, why is it a good idea to just waive someone like Jordan Clarkson instead of just keeping him and getting a second-round pick, kind of like we got Filipowski? For every Kyle Filipowski, there is like 100 other guys that don't even ever step on an NBA floor, right? And you got to think about this. Would you trade Jordan Clarkson right now to move up 2 spots in the draft? Would you do that? I would do that. It is the same idea because what happens with the Jazz every single year, the last 2 years at least for sure, they say they want to trade up every single time. Well, now is the time. Now is the time, Utah. I would waive Jordan Clarkson tomorrow. Luckily, I guess, well, not luckily, but he has plantar fasciitis, so he's not playing. Waive him. Do not play him. It is not worth giving Jordan Clarkson the chance to win the Jazz a basketball game that they should not be winning. And the Colin Sexton thing, Would you waive Colin Sexton to move from 6 to 3 in the NBA draft? I would. Because that's basically what you're doing. So when we go to lottery night and all these different places, if we go into draft night and Utah hasn't jumped because they fell to like 6th in the standings because they won't trade these guys, I don't want to hear trade rumors anymore. I don't want to hear that the Jazz want like this specific guy. Last year it was Stephon Castle, and surprise, surprise, Stephon Castle looks like an awesome prospect for the Spurs. And, Asar Thompson the Jazz wanted. Well, Asar Thompson looks awesome on Detroit, and he's going to develop into something. Who knows? I don't want to be that guy anymore. I don't want to be that team. Do the trade now. You trade up in the draft now by moving those players. The Brooklyn Nets understand the assignment. They traded Dennis Schroeder, right? All these teams are already doing it. Utah needs to make the move and do it now. Get the spot now, because guess what? These teams are trying to lose just like you. New Orleans is, excited to have Zion back, but they are not super excited for Utah to jump to this 2 spot. And it's right there. It's right there. You can get it. It's right there. Low-hanging fruit. Just make the trade. Make the trade, Jazz. Make the trade. Trade Colin Sexton for a beignet to New Orleans. For a beignet and a po' boy. Trade them. Get it done. Make the move. Do it. It's right there. All right. No one clipped that. As far as Utah goes, they started Collier, and I actually had a lot of fun. I know he goes 1 for 6. You know what? He looked really good because guess what? He had 9 assists, and he absolutely can command the ball and play the point guard, and he's a lot of fun. He's tough as nails. He's absolutely a fire hydrant on defense because he does not get moved. He is honestly the defensive talent we need at the point guard. I actually have a feeling when it comes to shooting the ball, he's going to figure it out. I know right now he can't shoot. But what he can do is a lot of other nice things, and he plays defense, and he's fast, and he's built like an absolute, 3-down running back in the NFL. You put pads on Isaiah Collier, and he will run out there for the Green Bay Packers and Josh Jacobs on Sunday and win you a football game. And that's what he does with the Utah Jazz right now. Now, he just can't shoot. He shoots like a football player, to be honest. But I'm spitting on my mic. Once he figures out that shot, once he can take the 3, once he can get a little floater game, he's got the tools to be a really nice point guard for this Jazz team. I'm excited to watch him, but he does have to figure it out. In this NBA, you've got to be able to shoot the ball. It is so important to be able to shoot that ball, because if you can't, it is really difficult in crunch time to have you on the floor because other teams don't have to guard you. I don't know if there's a huge scouting report out there on Isaiah Collier, but a lot of teams are not guarding him very closely. Colin Sexton, we talked about it. You've got to trade him. Look how good he's doing. This is crazy. 24 points, 7 for 16, 30 minutes, +4, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, just bonkers stuff. He's not a good defender, but he's a very good offensive player. And we've talked about this, like against bad teams or average teams, he puts up big numbers. Against good teams, he gets smoked. Doesn't play as well. But against the bad teams, incredible. And if you put him on a really good team where there's a lot of spread attention for defenses, I think he can do that for other teams. I do think there are other teams that are a little worried because maybe they don't know if he's good stats, bad team kind of guy, like Bill Simmons says. He could definitely be that. But, these numbers are hard to argue. He just consistently is putting up big-time stuff this season. You go look at his stats. I mean, these numbers are so solid. And then you have right here, look at this, 48% from the field, 43% from 3. He's having 100% his best season shooting the 3. We are so close to 50, 40, 90. Look at that. 48, 43, 90. Incredible stuff from Sexton. He's too good. And, Utah is trying to develop young guys. They're trying to capture the flag. And At some point, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. We're giving ourselves a lot of heartache. It took a freaking Trae Young buzzer beater at half court. Is that really what we want to do? You're going to give me panic attack every night. Is that what you want? No. Guys, well, let's talk Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler tonight, they were, maybe we call them the Ivory Towers? They were incredible tonight. In fact, is that a good nickname? It's pretty good. Ivory Towers. But 35 points for Lauri Markkanen, 11 for 21, 8 for 15 from 3. Look at that. He took 15 threes tonight, knocked down 8. Big time stuff. 35 points, vintage Utah Jazz Markkanen. And then you look at Walker Kessler tonight, 8 for 11. Walker Kessler was the best player on the floor in a lot of ways. Him and Markkanen were incredible outside of Trae Young hitting that half court. But Walker Kessler was just so good tonight. Look at this, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, 1 steal, 8 for 11 from the field. He's playing more and more with that force that we as Jazz fans need him to play with. And him being a cornerstone piece, he is only in his 3rd season. He is absolutely, those trade rumors are getting quieter and quieter and quieter because Utah's very much you know what? He's really good. We'll just keep him. And if we can just lose these games and get Cooper Flagg or get Dylan Harper or get Ace Bailey or who's looking really good? Yakusonis looking pretty darn good. Then all of a sudden Utah gets pretty good pretty fast, especially if they get Cooper Flagg. If Utah gets Cooper Flagg, I don't know if they're getting a draft pick next year because Utah has to be bottom 8 to keep their pick next year. If you get Cooper Flagg, I don't know how you lose enough games to be bottom 8 because all of a sudden Utah, if let's say Collier kind of gets his shooting improved a little bit next year, it's not going to take a lot for him to improve his shot, to be honest. But, Keontae George is on a positive trajectory. Offensively, he's turning into a really nice player. And if basically you replace the bad defense from Colin Sexton with the good defense of Cooper Flagg, Utah's going to have 2 picks too. And I'm just praying, for the they get another really good lottery pick from them, then all of a sudden Utah gets pretty good pretty fast. Now, it's hard to overcome the flaws of young players. You're going to have young players that have flaws that it's hard to overcome. And Cooper Flagg is going to have his lumps, but man, does he look NBA ready to me and looks like potential superstar. Phenomenal potential with him on this Jazz team. And if you bring him in and he becomes, kind of like Jason Tatum did with the Celtics, and how quickly he impacted games and how quickly they went deep in the playoffs, there's no reason why Cooper Flagg can't do that either. He is that caliber of guy. Go look at the highlights tonight. Holy crap, he was dunking it on everybody. And then you consider the defensive impact he has. It's pretty impressive stuff. So we'll see. And it's a great draft. Johnny Juzang tonight, he started 11 points. He brings just 3-point shooting, which is really impressive. Kyle Filipowski had a few moments, although the shooting wasn't quite there. 8 rebounds, though, and he did hit a 3. One thing I like about Filipowski is he does move the ball. He's got some development to do. I think we probably got to hold our horses a little bit with how good he is, but you can tell he's going to be a player. Now, he has to develop just like everyone. He just needs to get better. 29 minutes for Cody Williams. I was ecstatic about it, and this was a close game. You look at Johnny Juzang, minus 17. I felt like Cody Williams played great tonight in terms of just defense, because you see that right there. He was in the fourth quarter. If you did not watch this game, I tell you what, this is why you watch the games, because someone who goes here and says, 1 for 6. Oh, advanced stats say he can't shoot the ball. Well, yeah, he can't shoot right now, or at least not good enough yet. But this one shot he made was a drive to the basket. He was aggressive. He played with more confidence than we've seen in a while. And he was a -2. And why? Because he's a good defender. And he's big. I was watching him. DeAndre Hunter is big on the Hawks. And Cody Williams was right there with him size-wise. Now, he's really skinny. And I think, honestly, some of that might be why he's struggling a little bit in some ways. But you give him another year of strength training. He may never be huge, but can he just get stronger? and, more durable. And he's been durable, to be honest. The reason he's not playing is not because of any sort of ailment or injury. It's because he's just trying to earn minutes. And Utah giving him 29 tonight was honestly not just them trying to make sure they're force-feeding develop minutes. He earned them. He played hard defense. And you could tell that, not Quinn. Quinn was coaching the Hawks, and I was like, come on, Quinn, do something good for once. But Will Hardy had him out there because he was defending. And I'm not kidding. When you have him out there with some of the other players, like Collier and Williams were some of the best defenders on the floor for the Jazz and kept them in this. I mean, this was not, I guess it goes 124, 121, but this was a real, rock fight. Guys just like defending their hearts out, and Cody Williams fit in. So, Cody Williams is not going to make the all-rookie team unless he has some sort of renaissance in the second half. But I think there's enough there, and we've seen some things that, if he can just get his shot more consistent, if he can start learning how to create separation, there's just a lot of development that needs to happen. He's super young, but I liked seeing the confidence, because I think one of the problems with Cody Williams is just being timid. And we saw some really nice signs tonight. That's why you got to watch the games. Watch the games. Drew Eubanks did some things tonight, 8 rebounds. He had 5 turnovers. Thank you, Drew Eubanks. Thank you. And then also Micah Potter had 2 travels, super important travels. Thank you, Micah Potter. Thank you. And this is what I'm getting at. Colin Sexton is putting up big-time numbers. He is not going to be on the team in 2 seasons. There's no reason to keep him on the team in 2 seasons. He is taking 16 shots that, and also, I guess, Patty Mills ended up going 5 for 14. These 3 threes he made were 3 in a row in the first half, and it was driving me crazy. But, 14 and 16 shots to veterans, it's just the same story. We need those going here, right? Not here. What are we gaining from 14 shots to Patty Mills? And what are we gaining by 16 shots to Colin Sexton? Utah needs a superstar, and there are superstars in this draft. We need them. We need one. So what's going on here? We can have a lot of fun watching these games and watching Cody Williams develop, and Keontae George didn't play tonight, but watching him play well has been fun. But man, come on. Come on, Danny. Come on, Justin. Come on, Ryan. Come on. It's time to move Sexton. It's too much. It's too much at this point. It's too much heartburn. He's doing too much good. Too much. All right, guys. I think that's pretty much the show tonight. Really fun ending. I posted the video reaction from Playback on the channel if you want to see what a guy who is hoping the Jazz lose his mind looks like. But anyways, the Jazz figured out how to lose. That was incredible. And shout out to Trae Young. All right, let's start the music tonight. Utah saved their positioning. They're pretty much locked into the top 5, but let's lock into the top 2. Come on, Jazz. Let's make 6 our floor. Right now, our floor is 9. We need to make the 6 our floor. That's what the Jazz are playing with. That's why whenever someone tells you, like, oh, they just have a pretty good shot at the number 1, that's not it. We need to solidify our floor, not just our ceiling. We're trying to solidify our floor. And that is 6, if we can get to 2. And who says we can't overtake the Wizards? Why is my brain not working? Why can't I find... Here we go. All right, guys, this was a blast of a game. You can watch it with me on the Playback. It's a lot of fun. You just search SLC Duncan Playback, and I'll give you a VIP, and you can actually stream the game with me. So come watch it with me. It's a lot of fun. Let's see if the lottery, let's refresh this just to make sure. Utah sits at 5. We lost our lottery pick because Minnesota jumped to 18. This was actually big because Atlanta getting the win can help with this Minnesota stuff. So anyways, if the lottery was today, what would happen? Let's see. Utah drops, but we get 6, and that gives us Jakusonis at 6. He may not be there at this point, guys. He's rising. It's crazy. Portland and Toronto gets Cooper Flag. They win the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. But Jack Hussonis is looking like an absolute stud, guys. This draft is deep, and Utah wants to make sure they get at least top 6. If Utah gets 2 and gets jumped by 4 and it's a tragedy, at least you get Jack Hussonis. Go look at the tape. He's awesome. All right. Now let's just shout out our members. Let's see. If you want to support the channel, first off, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Come on. But if you'd like to support, you can join, and it helps out a ton, and I really appreciate it. So let's give a shout out to our All-Stars. Shout out to Ryan Edward Perry, the legend, Baby Elliott Madsen, see ya, Alexa later, Christian House Money to Haas, The Outlaw, Jesse James Nelson, Jordan the Goat Bessroll, Austin our Grant Editor Extraordinaire, KG10 to TH5, and Patrick Akubo, the Connoisseur. Guys, like I said, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and if you want to support, hit that join button. I would appreciate it. I will talk to you next time, guys.